Okay. All right. So good morning, everybody. Saturday, Simple Success Coffee Talk and Coffee Chat. And so we're smoothie chat, whatever you got. And we will be talking about sponsoring with regard to our hostesses. And Debbie got me thinking about this yesterday. And so thank you for that, because I was going to take today in a different direction. But I like the idea of being talking really specifically about the fact that our hostesses are our best potential consultant in any circumstance. And so, okay, so where does that leave us right now? So we want to be thinking about the people that we are booking parties with right now. And I think we can legitimately, and in a really simple way, go backwards also and offer the business opportunity to our past hostesses. It's easy to get overwhelmed with the concept of sponsoring, especially when we start talking about, well, what do you say to people? What do you say to your customers? And then we start thinking, gosh, I have all these customers. How do I go backwards and start a conversation with them? It just feels overwhelming. But I don't want anybody to do that. I want us to focus on what is simple and what's right in front of us. So speaking broadly, I want us to focus on our most recent customers. So let's say since Christmas, as far as offering the opportunity, and then going forward, offering it to every new customer as we interact with her, as we say thank you, as we check on her jewelry, whatever, that we learn how to say thank you to her. Because I don't want this to become, oh my gosh, I have 300 customers. How do I go back to all of them? Forget it. And you slam the book shut. I want it to be something that where we build a new habit, a fresh habit of, this is how I interact with my customers. I always mention the business opportunity, because otherwise, how is she going to know? But the second thing is, we want to always focus on our hostesses as our prime potential consultant, because she's the most interested that we're aware of. And because that is a much smaller group, we can go backwards pretty far into the past and strike up the conversation and offer the business to those ladies as well. So what's what I wanted to talk about today is do some brainstorming about what's the verbiage for the current hostess, and then what might be the verbiage in going backwards to bring it up again to our past hostesses. And hi, Gwen, nice to see you. Good
Hi,
morning.
Hi,
Betsy.
Gwen.
Welcome. We're happy to meet you.
Yes, nice
Ladies,
to meet
this
you.
is Gwen. She joined last week, and we were planning a February 1st party, and she got $1,000 in sales before February 1st.
What?
So before we opened our new party, I said, listen, you're going to be getting all of this. And I showed her everything. And here she is. Here she
Wow.
is. She's just
Yep.
taking each day at a time and doing great. She's doing
Wow.
great.
That's
So
so great.
I
yeah.
think 1,000 again, Alicia.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are. We're gonna do it.
Oh, that's so fun. Gwen, have you done anything like this before, or is this sort of a new thing?
No, I have never hosted any type of party in my life. So it was just something, I don't know. I have, worn the jewelry. My mom is like a huge, huge fan of the jewelry. I mean, who knows how much it has, like it is, you can't even count it. But
Yeah.
Wow.
so yeah, I don't know, I felt like doing it this year. I think like with COVID and everything else, it just seemed like, a way to connect with people. So it's kind of a little bit of like that social thing,
Yes.
being
And you
able to.
work from home, right, Gwen?
Yep. So yeah, so I'm like full-time working from home, and who knows when we're going back to the office. I'm thinking maybe this year, but it will probably be part-time. My husband also works full-time from home as well.
Okay.
But they keep pushing it back, of course, because then there's another variant or something happens.
Yeah.
So
Do you go
but
into DC? Is your office in DC?
mine's in Alexandria, so my commute is like 10 minutes.
Oh, I was going
But
to say, that's nice.
yeah, but for my husband, his office is in DC. He works for the Institute of International Education.
Mhm.
We both work for nonprofits, and I work for TESOL International Association, and I do their marketing.
Wow. So you're already
So
in
that's why you're
marketing.
so good at.
You already
Yes.
have the marketing
Oh, she
mindset.
sure does. Yes.
That's what, yeah, that's,
Yes.
yeah.
That's great.
That's neat.
That's great.
Oh, good.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh my goodness, so glad to see you and have you with us. It's fun. So
Yeah.
we've started doing these coffee chats on Wednesday mornings at 10 and also Saturday mornings at 10, in addition to the training calls that we offer and that the company offers too. So it's always on this Zoom link. And just so you know, full disclosure, we are recording this. So just
Oh, I saw the
Oh, yeah.
little record thing up in the
okay,
corner.
yeah.
all right, just make it. I figured you probably knew how to detect that. Yes, right. Since you live your life on virtual. And then what I do is I put them on my YouTube channel and then I post it to the team page. So it always sits, so the trainings always sit residents, people can find whatever they want to learn something about. So anyway, so welcome. So happy that you're here with us. And Alicia just rolled out of bed, so you don't mind.
Yeah, I did.
So
That's my thing too. When she mentioned it, I'm like, let me go, like quickly brush my hair, or it's just we were about to, my husband, yeah, we had some cinnamon rolls and bacon. So
Nice.
nice. That's a nice Saturday. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good
I had my-
Saturday. I was gonna say that looks like
Yeah.
a really good latte. Like you've got something going there.
well,
Yeah.
well, we use an espresso machine.
Right.
Yes.
And you do
Oh
the
my gosh,
Mm,
it's so foamy. I have the same
Mm.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just spilled it.
I want that. I'm coming to Gwen's house.
Husband, he
All
had
right, carry on. I gotta go clean that up.
oh no,
Oh,
that had an espresso machine, and then he was like, I have to get one. So
yeah. Yes, they're contagious. My son just bought one out in Seattle.
Oh,
and I think he's planning on getting me one too.
yeah.
That is key. So it's funny that you just popped on because our topic today for the next 20 minutes is to talk about how do we offer the business opportunity to our hostesses? And that's what just happened to you. So I'm
Yeah.
fascinated to hear like what it was. I mean, because you're just coming in and you heard whatever it was that she said.
Mhm.
Out of curiosity, was there something that Alicia said in particular that got you intrigued to do this?
Well, I think it was a combination of a couple of things. So one, like if you already really like the jewelry, of course, you have to love it. So that's the key. And then, she shared all the benefits with me. And so that was a huge thing. I think also the fact that there's no minimums.
Okay.
So it's like there's no pressure. I mean, I know that there's a lot of course, encouragement to sell things, but it's with like knowing that there's no pressure in a way, like I don't have to meet some kind of like sales quota or something because, I, work full time. I already have a lot of stress from my current job to meet a lot of sales goals. So I didn't necessarily want to have a stressful additional thing. I needed it to be more casual. So I do think you're probably going to have all different types of hostesses. I mean, you already know, like some that want to do it more as a side gig thing, or maybe some who are like more serious about it. But I think it just depends on what you already have going on, and I have a lot going on. I have 2 kids, I have, just plenty of stuff happening already.
But you bring up such a good point, and each hostess is different, but I've never met someone who came on board who didn't have a lot going on. And so that is part of what I wanted to talk about is what is that messaging that we want to provide, not just because it's marketing, but because it's true.
I think, that low, I think the low pressure thing is helpful.
Yes.
Then get into it at your own pace.
Yes.
It really should, it's great to offer a lot of different opportunities, but just kind of let people find their way, and I think they'll figure it out,
It's funny, there is this balance that we have to think about. Remember, she showed you all of what you could get in a way that wasn't pressure, but if she hadn't shown you that, you wouldn't have known what was possible. So we have to somehow help people understand that they can do this the way they want to, but I would be remiss if I didn't share with you what's possible. Right. And so we're showing both sides of the coin. Here's what's expected of you, which is nothing. Here's what's possible, which is a lot. Right.
Yeah.
So somehow in that conversation with our hostesses, and even going backwards with our past hostesses, like, what is that messaging? So I think the first thing we want to talk about is with your existing hostesses, the ones that were doing parties with you this month, next month, what is the thing that we want to say to them? What is the seed that we want to plant with them right as we get going? Like, Raina, what would you say to your host, and what are you saying to your hostesses, for example? I know you've got sort of standard things that you like to say.
Well, you always have to mention the business to them. And at first you could kind of just mention it casually, like, oh my gosh, girl, you would be so great at doing this. You should think about joining me. And then move on to something else and let her ponder that. And then bring it up
Yes.
again and let her ponder it. And then maybe bring it up again in a different way and then see her reaction and see what she has to say. I mean, especially, Alicia, when Gwen's got this huge party already. It's like when they see success from their own party, it makes it like, oh, look how successful my own party was. I can do this. So you really have to just kind of point out the obvious, basically, to get them thinking about it.
And show confidence in them.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the one thing that I said to Alicia, I mean, when she showed me everything, I'm like, it kind of seems like too good to be true, but I guess it is. So, I might as well do it.
Yeah.
Because February is a huge month. Like, it looks like there's a lot more offered, than in normal months or something, I guess. So it just seems like a huge amount of stuff.
Yeah, there is a little bit, right. This is good timing. I think anytime someone starts at the beginning of a new catalog, they're always extra special, a few extra special things.
Yeah.
So, one of the phrases that I like to say is, just so you know, this could be your launch party. So just be thinking about whether you want this to be your first party as we work through this for you. It gets a little sticky with them getting orders in and they're coming in on my website, right, under her party. And then if suddenly she wants to join, then those orders can't be transferred over to her back office, right? So then we have to try to figure something out with that. And that's where it's nice if they can make that decision early, or in Gwen's case, you guys closed out that party and just opened up a new one under Gwen. So that was like the best of all worlds, the way that
yeah, that worked out.
But I think it's, one of the seeds that we can plant is, this, just a thought, this could be your launch party if you want it to be, right? You get paid as the consultant and you earn all the host rewards and you get a whole bunch of extra goodies from the company as a new consultant as well. And I kind of leave it at that. I don't go into a whole lot of detail that first time, but I kind of gauge to see what she says to me. And honestly, what I'm learning and realizing is that most people's default answer is no.
Oh yeah, Gwen said no, actually. I was looking at my text and she said, as much fun as it is, I think I'm too busy to take on another job. Remember, Gwen?
Yes.
And it went on, a little bit. And then she went on some more even. I mean, she was really thinking about it. And, I sent her back just a quick message. I completely understand. I said, you are a natural at this. But I think we have more part-time hobby consultants than not. Many still work full-time jobs and this is their fun job, but balance is important too. Aren't you a little curious about all the buzz for February? And I left it at that. And she said, I'm really curious. And it was all downhill from there.
Seriously.
Yes.
Gwen, out of curiosity, since it's fresh in your mind, how did your brain go from that no, I'm too busy to curious?
I'm trying to think back. I guess I must have just said, I don't know. I guess I just changed my mind, honestly, where I'm like, why not just be open?
People change their minds. What?
Yes, that's great.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, on top of it too, I won't go into it, but I had some health issues last year too. So that was also a reason why I was pretty hesitant, and I'm feeling very good now, but I'm just very protective of my health.
Mhm.
So that's why I was extra cautious.
Yeah.
But I mean, so far everything's been fine, so I'm,
Yeah.
everything's good, but you just never know, what people have going on. But I think that, Alicia did a very good job, at selling me. She, a marketer marketed to a marketer.
That's funny. And the marketer bit. That's really funny. But that's what I'm fascinated by. And this is what we forget. Oh, she said no. No, she already said no. No, that one already said no. Ladies, people change their minds all the time.
Yes.
I'm sure you all changed your mind yesterday about something.
Yes.
And maybe even this morning.
It's so true.
Women change their minds. Their lives change. They learn. Why do we change our minds? It's because we learn something new. We get more information and we change our minds.
Yes.
It's just like marketing and advertising. I changed my mind about what toothpaste I'm going to buy because I just learned something new through an ad or some kind of a marketing campaign, right? And so it's that new information and different timing can cause someone to change their mind. So in this case, it was in a short window. It was during the time that you were host coaching and working with Gwen, right, Alicia?
Yeah.
We have to remember that we can now also go backwards to our past hostesses who may have said no to us. Maybe we never said a word about it, but maybe they said no in the past and we're going, oh no, sure, I said no. Now I feel like really squishy about going back to her. No. She may have learned some things. For all we know, her friends all loved the jewelry that they got from her party, and she constantly gets compliments on her jewelry. She now knows something different than she did when she said no to you. Why wouldn't we go back and say, fresh catalog, fresh incentives? I got to share this with you. This may not at all be for you or good timing or anything, but I would be remiss if I didn't just at least show this to you and see what you think. Right. And so that becomes a really simple set of tasks to make that little list of your past hostesses, maybe from the past 12 months, and go backwards and say, I just got to show this to you and see what you think. Are you interested in coming on and joining with me? Or would you like to hear more? And that is not an overwhelming task. And I'm not talking about spending days and months on this. I'm talking about spend 1 hour over the next week and go backwards to your hostesses and see if maybe the answer could be maybe. Right.
Or I'm curious. I'm
curious.
curious.
I'm curious.
Curious is a really good, a little crack in the door.
It's a crack in the door. That's all we're looking for. And the funny thing is, it might be that the crack in the door puts her in your pipeline, whereas she wasn't before. And the pipeline to me is just that long list of women who have said, you know what, when I retire, or when my child starts kindergarten, or when my kids leave for college, or when I, whatever, they're in the pipeline because I know that they would like to. Something is keeping them from it right now. And kind of like with Gwen, she was a no and she had her reasons, but something shifted enough that she could overcome what her original objections were, and they were no longer now as important as what she knew she could gain from becoming a part of Touchstone Crystal. That's what we're watching for, is that little window and that shift, right? So the no, for most people, it's a no, not now, no, not ever. And we just have to remind ourselves that everyone is a possibility. We can't judge who this is for, who this is going to be a blessing for. So, but let's talk for a minute, a little bit, just one more minute, about what we're going to say. What are you going to be comfortable saying initially to your hostess about the business? Let's say you just booked a party. Let's say you book a party today. What are you going to say to your hostess? What's the seed you want to plant? So we get the verbiage. Debbie's like, "Mm."
I've got to do a
I am
little.
so at the bottom. I mean, I have to start from the very beginning because I lost everybody. So I'm just like, this is fresh for me.
One
So-
person at a time.
That's right. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. I just tell
Yes,
me what
you
to
do
do.
know. Yes,
I know.
you do know. You're just feeling sorry for yourself. Yes, you do
I
know.
think we have to be, I think we have to become, this is just part of doing business. We're constantly, this is, people come and go, they do. So, I remember Shauna telling me, your goal for sponsoring should be 1 or 2 people a month, every month, whether you're
Mhm.
whether you have people or not have people. That is just part of it. Somehow in our brains, we have to, it's a compartment in our brains we have to touch every day,
Good
just
point.
like we touch our bookings and touch
Mhm.
our sales.
Great
We
point.
also have to be asking those questions,
Mhm.
to our hosts. And like Raina said, it's just a drip. It's just a seed.
Mhm.
We just have to say, have you ever thought about what I do?
Mhm.
Hey, before we get things set up, could I show you what you would get with this party if you were the consultant instead of my
Ooh.
host?
Nice. I love those words.
And ask the question. Don't just throw up on them, because they don't know, you know what I mean? They might really not want to. I had like 3 hosts, this February. And I was actually, to be honest with you, nervous to ask, because I was like, if all 3 of these join, then I have no parties before February 10th.
Mhm.
And I am not kidding you. I hesitated.
That's
But
understandable.
I went ahead anyway, and I
Mhm.
said, because she just kept, it was all like the classic things. I love the whole catalog. I can't choose. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to do. She's previous host already. She is a really hard worker
Mm.
at her other job. And those are the people who are already working are the people you want to go after, because a person in motion stays in motion.
Yes.
Somebody that is complacent, they're going to be complacent with you too.
Mhm.
So it's people who are already working, already seeing people, already engaged
Mm.
in life are the people you want to go after. And I like this girl, oh my gosh, it's like classic, but I'm like, I'm working with Gwen right now. And I
Mhm.
was working with Kathleen in Florida. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I
Nice.
want to take a third one on.
Uh-huh.
But I gave her all the information and she molded all over. She said, it sounds amazing. She's like, but I'm already working 70 hours plus and we're getting
Mhm.
into our busy season. So let's just do a party, and maybe down the road I'll join.
Yeah.
So,
That's fine.
I did it anyway, and she decided. And you know what, Betsy, I think that's the thing is things are going to fall into place, and you got to kind of lose control, like not lose
Yes.
control, but you got to, what's the word?
Relinquish.
Release
Yeah.
control of the situation.
Yeah.
Things will all fall into place.
Mhm.
If you just go forward and believe,
Mhm.
that this month is,
Mhm.
is going to all work out. It's all going to work out fine. There's no reason to worry. There's no reason to worry.
Mhm.
There really isn't.
I think the key is always taking the path of generosity, which is to offer the very best thing that we have to offer, regardless of what we think it might take away from us.
Exactly.
It's never about me. It's always about her and what is
Always.
best for her and what will bless her life.
Exactly. And we have to train our brains to think like that.
Right.
Because I don't think it's natural. I think we really have
Right.
to practice it. We have to
Mhm.
practice that.
We operate typically with an eye towards scarcity rather than abundance. And if
Yes.
we can operate in the realm of abundance, as in, if I sponsor these 3 hostesses, I am positive I can find more parties. I will find more parties because I know how to find more parties, right?
Yes.
And
Or I'll
these
just
three
sell all
women,
my samples.
or I'll just sell all my
Uh-huh.
and make some money that way, right?
Exactly.
But that's my point, though, is that there's always a plan B, but the goal, not the number one goal, being to bless those ladies with the opportunity to give this a try, right? And whenever we're holding back on that because we think it's going to impact us, that act of selfishness and acting out of scarcity is not going to allow us to build a big business. It isn't.
Yeah.
And to help women along the way. That's so smart, Alicia. Yeah, I get it. And I love that you're totally honest about that.
I'm learning,
Mhm.
always learning, you know.
Mhm.
No, that's good. Let me tell you
Always.
something that I did.
Mhm.
I've got 4 parties, they're all in home. So I had to get, and this isn't hostess coaching. This is, I'm going to come up with a question here. So I had to do with me when they book, that's when my first talking to them is about. And I put my hostess packet together, and I had talked to Betsy about this yesterday about what to put in for sponsoring. So I did put the kid in there, and I forget what other form we talked about, but I put that in there too.
Mhm.
And my thought process was I had told her that when she got the hostess packet, I wanted to call to talk to her, but I really wanted to not only talk to her about her hosting of what we needed to do and getting her a wish list, but I wanted to use that as opening up a door to talk to her about that maybe being her launch, because
Mhm.
the information being in front of her. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I am just so like, that I'm hoping that might be a good way to open up the door and talk to her, because you're going to go over some of the things with them, but that is one of the things you can maybe start talking about. And it's saying, hey, I sent you some information. I like your word curious about making this be your launch. And I can send you more information if you have an interest in some of the things that we got going on in February. I don't know, am I on the right track or not? Because
You
I'm
are.
so far gone with some of this stuff. I'm just so like, that, is that good or not? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I usually have all the answers. This time I have no answers. No answers.
Debbie, I think you're spot on, because you never want to decide for someone what they want. So you always want to give them the option to choose what they want, because you never know. You may look at somebody and be like, I don't think it's for them, but maybe they really want it. So never choose for them. Let them choose for themselves. So offer it to everybody. Debbie, I do the same thing. I send stuff about the business and I talk to them about that too. So perfect.
Okay, good. Thank you. I love you.
I love it. It's very good. Okay. Excellent. Any last thought? Because we don't want to make this any longer. It's this busy Saturday morning for all of you.
It's been helpful to listen to.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
I know, Gwen, I haven't even started to show you what the rewards are for sponsoring. I'm sitting here thinking she probably has no idea what we're even discussing, but we'll have to go over that today. We're going to meet after this.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It
I have a
doesn't seem
quick
to matter
question.
much. I think she's caught the bug.
Yeah.
I have a
Yes.
quick question for you. What are you putting in with your catalogs for the sponsoring talk?
Raina, can you answer that one? Because you had a bunch of you had a good list.
I put that little flyer that touched.
Try us on.
Yeah, the
try us
try
on.
us on one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can even put, for a while we were sending that postcard. You can
Yeah.
put that in there. But I do put the little pamphlet, the 8.5 by 11 that you can order. That's all about the business opportunity. It's multi-page. And then I also print out anything that's consultant related for the month. So I put our incentives that we can earn. I put the glam plan in there. The recap of everything they can earn if they started this month, you know?
Recap. Yeah.
Yeah. And so basically to give them a taste of like, hey, if you join me, this is what you can get.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
Kind of
yeah.
peel back the curtain. to
Yeah,
what
and the
it's like to
kit,
be
of
the
course, but
consultant.
yeah, and the copy of the kit, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Great. I love
cool,
it.
thanks.
So I'm going to make it my task over this next week to go backwards to my hostesses over the last year or 18 months, because I'm in touch with all of them randomly, and to offer the business specifically to them, just to see what they say and see who wants to come in. Also, for those of you who've been with us for a while, it's worth going back to people who used to be with you on your team and see if they want to start again. Give them a fresh opportunity, because perhaps the timing wasn't right the last time, and maybe the timing is better, and it's a better time. It's a better opportunity for them to come in now.
I just saw for the first time, met somebody who was on my team, but under one of my people.
Mhm.
And I got to actually finally meet her face to face for the first time last night.
Oh.
So we had a very nice conversation and didn't talk about the business at all, but that is definitely something that I will be touching base with her again
Mhm.
about, seeing if she'd be willing to jump back on again, because she was
Right.
really wonderful when she was selling with us. So
Wow.
yeah, she was one of our top people
Wow.
for a while. So yeah, I'm like, maybe.
Neat. Yeah, right. Again, we don't want to decide for people. We just want to offer liberally and with joy and excitement and enthusiasm for what's possible for them. That's what we do. And that's what Alicia did. And that's why we have beautiful Gwen with us today.
Yay.
So
Yay.
great. Well, great to see you all. Thank you so, so much for all the wonderful ideas and the chance to chew on this. It's a great topic. And it's really gonna boost us. This is our easiest way of digging into sponsoring. And I hope this becomes a fun thing for you this week to work on this project. So, all righty. Have a great Saturday and weekend, and I'll see a couple of you tomorrow. See you
Bye.
later.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.